So, this is your first college party, huh? I bet you're wondering about a lot of questions right now. Stick around, I'll give you the do's and don'ts for the ultimate college party experience. Sierra O'Shea, a writer who wrote an article titled The 8 Do's and Don'ts of Attending a House Party for College Times. If you're going to a house party and you talk to the same 3 people you talk to every single day, then you should have stayed home with them. I strongly agree you should listen to O'Shea and expand your inner circle more. If you really think about it, you wouldn't have came to the party unless you were looking to meet new people. My advice, get out there and show everyone what a cool person you are. You might have a special talent many people would be interested in. Depending on your relationship with the host or hostess, it's generally an unspoken rule that you should not come right on the dot. To support my claim, Nancy Mitchell, a writer of an article titled Do's and Don'ts, 7 Ways to be the Perfect Party Guest, explains how, for most people, it's second nature to show up at least 15 minutes late to a big gathering, but the perpetually punctual may have trouble with this. In a nutshell, avoid coming on time or even worse, early, to give your host a little breathing room and ensure that you don't walk in on them doing frantic last-minute preparations. I personally believe you should arrive anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes after the beginning time of the function. However, as an exception, if you are very close with the host, Mitchell includes that your punctuality or even earliness will probably be welcome, as you could help set up for the other party guests. The last thing you want your host feeling is that they did something wrong to upset you or you didn't enjoy their party. As stated by Nancy Mitchell again, you don't have to make a big deal of announcing your exit to every guest at the party, but you should at least find your host and let them know that you had a lovely time, but unfortunately, you have to leave. By doing this, you will have eliminated your host from wondering where you went or why you had to leave early. Plus, not ghosting your host will ensure your invite to their next party, which, if you enjoyed the party you attended right now, you would be more than happy to say bye to them on your way out. Although the chances of this happening are rare, creeps have been known to mess with unattended drinks, even if you're away for just a second. As said sternly by Claire Carter, who wrote the article called The Do's and Don'ts of College Partying. Especially if you are a girl, try to stick close with a good friend and make sure neither of you pick up your drink that had been sitting for a bit, or a stranger's drink. Another tip is to not accept any drinks from strangers. And if it's someone at the party, make sure you can physically see what they are pouring into the cup. Drinking and driving is an extremely dangerous problem that many teens don't pay as much attention to than what's absolutely needed. Not to mention, getting behind the wheel of a vehicle after consuming alcohol is a serious crime. A very useful article written by Carol Galbiksic titled Drinking and Driving DUI elaborates how the largest group at risk for drinking and driving are those who binge drink or are struggling with an alcohol use disorder or AUD. This means they consume a large amount of alcohol in a short period of time, putting them at risk for harmful side effects. The only way you're guaranteed to make it home safe is if you don't drink at all if you know you're going to be driving. This also applies to driving while under the influence of marijuana or other drugs. If you planned on smoking marijuana at the party you were invited to, remember that you have to wait at least 5 hours before operating any vehicle. So just as my advice would be for drinking, it's highly advised to either catch a Lyft with your friend that you absolutely know is not going to be drinking or smoking at all, or taking an Uber. Please consider the consequences. You're not only saving your life. A rising problem nowadays is the misinterpretation of what it means for someone to fully give the other person consent. Now, before we discuss giving consent, let's define what consent actually means. As stated by Winona DeMayo Ediger on an article titled A Plain and Simple Guide to Understanding Consent, consent is a clearly expressed agreement to participate in sexual activity. With this being clarified, consent must be verbal because it's ideal and allows both parties to state their wants clearly, and makes it easy to ask questions and clarify if needed. Asking a girl passed out drunk on the couch if she wants to have sex and her not responding, giving a vague answer, or literally saying anything other than yes means no. Another point to consider is that we live in a rape culture which muddies the water of nonverbal consent by fostering a lot of sexist, dangerous assumptions that need to undermine women's autonomy. So, make sure you and your partner clearly state what you both want to do so that there is no confusion on what's happening. On a side note, if you and your significant other do decide to engage in sexual activity, practice safe sex and wear a condom. Well, I hope everybody had fun at the party. By following these 5 simple steps, you are guaranteed to have an amazing time every single time. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your evening and make sure to stay safe, guys.